In this video, I want to talk about the two different options you have or your loved one has if they are interested in qualifying for Medicaid, but their income is too high to qualify. Meaning what Medicaid does is they are looking at your income from all sources, Social Security, pensions, IRA distributions, right? All of it. And if all that together adds up to a number that is larger than the current income cap, which changes every year, you're not eligible for Medicaid, even if you don't have 2 pennies to your name, right? Just based on this monthly income that's coming in alone, you can be disqualified. And I also want to specify that Medicaid is comprised of more than one program. And what I am generally focused on is the Medicaid waiver program that pays for home health care or assisted living facility care, or the ICP, institutional care program, that pays for nursing home care. That's generally where I live. We work with some other Medicaid programs as well, but I'm generally focused on those two long-term care oriented programs in the state of Florida. So in a different video and different parts on my website, we talk about how to protect people who have too much by way of assets. In this video, I want to talk about people who have too much by way of income, and we're going to have to talk about assets another time. All right, so your income is too high. What do we do? Well, there's really two options, and they each have kind of different aspects that are worth considering. The first that many people, if they've done any research into Medicaid in Florida, have heard of something called a Miller Trust. That's also referred to as a qualified income trust. Sometimes it's an income-only trust. It has a few different names, but Miller Trust and qualified income trust are typically the two most common. And the idea is by whatever amount the Medicaid applicant is over the income cap for that year. So in 2023, when this video was filmed, the income cap is $2,742. So if you add up all the gross income, so anything that's deducted, you gotta add back in to Social Security, pension, IRA distributions, rental income, right? However you're getting income, all that's added together. If that number is more than $2,742 in the year 2023, again, in 2024, it'll be higher, and so on and so forth, then you're not eligible for Medicaid unless you place the difference inside a qualified income trust as one of the options. So let me give you an example. If the income cap in Florida is $2,742, let me make it easy. Let's say your income from all sources combined is $2,842. You're therefore $100 over the income cap. If you're over by a penny, you need to do something. Otherwise, you're not eligible for Medicaid. But in this hypothetical example, my client's over by $100. We'd open up an income trust, and that $100 each and every month that they want to be eligible for Medicaid would have to be transferred into that income trust. You don't lose the money. The money can go in there and come right back out to go pay for, and here's the thing, here's a limitation to qualified income trusts. Money coming out of a qualified income trust can only be used on health, medical, wellness related expenses. It's not supposed to go towards paying property taxes, the visa bill, HOA fees. Those are not health, medical, or wellness related. So if you're only $100 over and you are in the Medicaid waiver program, maybe you use it to pay for some additional home health care beyond what Medicaid will provide you. That's a very good use of the funds. If you're in an assisted living facility, maybe your income plus what Medicaid provides still is not enough, and you can put income trust funds toward an assisted living facility. That's all health, medical, wellness related. But especially for my clients who are at home, sometimes they find that all their long-term and health care needs are needed because Medicaid provides a lot of benefits, like a comprehensive health insurance benefit. They provide, you eliminate your co-pays for medical doctor's visits and treatments, and very, very small co-pays, $1 to $10 for prescriptions. Sometimes we can even eliminate that as well. So sometimes people don't have health or medical related expenses to spend, and you're not supposed to use qualified income trust funds for non-health or medical related expenses. So what is one to do? Well, as an alternative to a qualified income trust, there is also what's known as a pooled special needs trust. Now, interestingly, a pooled special needs trust is a little more versatile in that you can use it for excess assets or excess income. But we're focusing on income in this video, so we're not going to talk about the other aspects of a pooled special needs trust. But the pooled trust can also be used instead of a qualified income trust for someone whose income is just too high to qualify for Medicaid in Florida. So you could, instead of using a qualified income trust, you could use the money in a pooled special needs trust. One of the benefits to a pooled special needs trust is that there is no spending restriction, meaning anything coming out of a pooled special needs trust can be used for health, wellness, medical related expenses, or anything else. Entertainment expenses, paying normal bills, credit card bills, homeowners association fees, any of that stuff, right? There's no restriction how the money is spent as long as it is spent on the for the benefit of the Medicaid recipient. That's really the only restriction. If you're on, there's some other restrictions if you are on Social Security income, but that's for another video. Not Social Security retirement. If you're just on retirement, not a big deal. But if you're on SSI, which is another needs-based program, there are a few other restrictions, but not many. So why not? So let's say, what's the point of this video, right? Why don't you just put everyone in a pooled special needs trust instead of a qualified income trust? Well, there are some drawbacks to the pooled special needs trust. So the first one is to compare and contrast them. In a qualified income trust that has some spending restrictions, right? Anyone other than the Medicaid applicant can be the trustee of that trust. It can be a spouse, it can be a child, it can be another close relative or friend, it can be anyone you want, and then they can have kind of control over that money. Of course, they can only spend it on the Medicaid applicant or Medicaid recipient's needs or wants that are medical related. To contrast that, moving over to the pooled special needs trust, you cannot hire just anyone you know. It will not be a family member or a friend. You must utilize a nonprofit professional organization. There are lots of these organizations around Florida. I work with 2 or 3 of them that just over the years I know provide for my clients, but they have small fees associated with their service. So for example, they might have a $500 to $1,200 buy-in, meaning whatever you give them, the first $500 to $1,200 is going to go towards their welcome to the family fee. And then on top of that, you're typically looking at a 2 to 3% administrative fee per year, not per month, per year. So it's the money, if you want it to be conservatively invested, maybe you can make more than their fee, or you leave it in cash and it just kind of slowly drains away. But the money in that trust, similar to the income trust, can only be spent on the Medicaid recipient. So I don't want you to think of either of these trusts are in an income context as a place where money is accumulating, right? Money comes in to satisfy Medicaid's income cap requirements, right? Anything above the income cap, and the money goes right back out to pay for anything that the client needs or wants, subject to certain restrictions with the income trust, subject to no restrictions with the pooled special needs trust. Both qualified income trusts and the pooled special needs trust have a similar drawback, which is if there is money left in the trust when a Medicaid recipient passes away, it is unlikely to go to the family. It is more likely to either stay within the trust to go benefit the nonprofit organization in a pool trust setting, or go to the state of Florida in a qualified income trust setting. It's essentially up to the value of services that Medicaid has paid for. That's commonly referred to as Medicaid estate recovery. They have a lien essentially only after a Medicaid recipient in Florida passes away. And that's something that no one likes that feature, of course. However, I also am quickly to tell my clients in an income situation, we don't care so much, right? Because again, money's not accumulating, money's coming in and it's going right back out to pay for things that my client needs. So oftentimes when my client passes away, there's no money left in the trust, but if there's a couple $100, yes, you'll lose it to the government or to the organization. And you have to be okay with that. And my client will undoubtedly receives so much more by way of benefits than what little amount they might have to give back in an income situation, okay? So I know this video is getting long enough already, but I think this is an important concept for people to understand when their income's too high, these two options, and to talk more about it, income or assets being an issue, qualifying for Medicaid, that can help provide valuable benefits, paying for home health care, assisted living facility care, or nursing home care. If you want to talk about it and you are anywhere in the state of Florida, or your loved ones anywhere in the state of Florida, give us a call, schedule a consultation. Thank you very much.